here we have our favorite person, incel spokesperson, Jesse Lee Peterson, talking to uh, David Turner, a activist for Black Lives Matter. This t- he had a debate with David Turner and has put up some highlights from those debates. I find this one to be quite hilarious.
You are a member of Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
And how long have you been a member?
Again, to 2014.
And did you know that Black Lives Matter was an organization that was founded by a bunch of fat black lesbians who hate God, who hate the family, order of the family, who hate the unborn child, and they admitted, at least one of them, that they're a Marxist group and they've been trained to do what they're doing. Did you know it was founded by some fat black lesbians?
Ooh, Jesse and his gotcha. Do you know they were founded by fat black lesbians? You know how evil that is to be fat and black and lesbian? Coming from a guy who's pudgy and black and pretty moronic and racist. Um, I wonder how people would react if his followers were told that the fallen state was started by a pudgy, black, racist person. Hmm. I would rather go with a group that is fighting for equality than fighting against equality.
Wow. So okay. So first of all,
Did you know that?
what we're not gonna do is insult folks, right?
Well,
So
they claim to be lesbians and they fat and they're black. I didn't do it.
no,
But did you know that it was founded by them?
well, yes, but also too, like I said, we're not gonna insult them. That's not cool, right? So don't do that again.
Would they consider that an insult?
Yes.
Why would they claim to be that? Why would they consider it
Well,
an insult?
time out.
It's an insult because of your tone of voice. The way you make it sound is that uh, women that women whose sexual orientation is homosexual, whose body type is BBW or chubby, and whose skin tone is uh, dark as to be bad characteristics to either be born with or to have. Um, and this is just another insight into the mind of uh, Jesse Lee Peterson. If you're black, fat, and a lesbian, you're an evil person. Those are like the trifecta for Jesse Lee Peterson.
Time
I've
out.
interviewed them,
So again, like I said, like we're not gonna talk about them like that.
but you knew it was founded by them, right? Before
Yes,
you
yes,
joined?
I personally know them, right?
Right.
So we're going to stop that part
And you
because
knew
that's
that
not
before
okay.
they joined. What made you join knowing that? Because normally men don't follow women like that. What made you do it?
Well, so I want
In Jesse's twisted mind, men don't follow women leaders. But in reality, there's been a lot of women leaders, and women can lead just as well as men. But for Jesse, he believes that if you listen to women, you're a weak beta who worships women, uh, and that the woman has done some type of manipulative trick in order to make you subservient.
to touch on a couple of points that you brought up,
All right.
right? So first off, right, like I think, well, you're a working man, right? You have
Yes.
people who work here.
Yes.
Do you know why you get weekends off, or why people have weekends off?
Right.
I'm
Supposedly to
asking you now,
rest. To
huh?
rest. Supposedly to rest.
Oh,
and
so
reflect and take care of things around the house.
okay, cool. And I'm assuming that people typically might work you for full time folks 8 hour work days.
Some of them, the lazy ones don't, but
Yeah, right. So
I'm
that
kidding.
right. So where do you think that the idea that people should get time off and that the workday shouldn't go on for 12 and 14 hours? Where did it come from?
I don't know, but it's a bad idea.
Is it?
They need to work 24 hours a day. I want to make them slaves.
Wow.
Wow. So, did you hear that? They should work 24 hours. I want to make them slaves. So, Jesse supports slavery. He's not a capitalist. He is not a person for freedoms or anything. He's a person that wants to, well, I guess capitalism is about slavery. He's a person that wants to uh, control others as much as possible, uh, and he doesn't care who. This is one reason why he feels the way he does about women, because he believes he should be able to enslave and control them as much as he wants.
Wow.
But
That's
somebody came up, probably some stupid union or something.
whoa.
But so,
Oh, okay.
so I,
So time out, right? So you said somebody founded some union.
I said probably some stupid union came up with that idea.
Well, so again, so I think the challenge, right, is that those like having a day off or having days off, right, like and having 8 hour work days is ideas informed by Marxism, right? The Communist Manifesto specifically speaks to the worker that was created, right, like and
Yes, the Communist Manifesto is about empowering the workers so that they can um, actually do more and survive and actually, instead of being like third class citizens, first class citizens, not sure about the the days off and stuff. But I know it's because of the workers fighting for weekends off and 8 hour days and stuff that we have it. If it was up to the business people like Jesse Lee Peterson, people would still be working grueling hours for no pay and no benefits, and we would still have child labor uh, because the capitalist people, for the most part, they don't care where their money comes from, who suffers for them to make that money. All they want is money, money, money.
and that is what led to the creation of unions that protect people's labor. So I wouldn't necessarily frame that as a bad thing because I think most of your viewers kind of enjoy their days off. So they have Marxists to thank for that. So I just want to
Are
let you
you a
know.
Marxist?
Am I a Marxist? I think what I am, right, is I'm somebody committed to the liberation of oppressed peoples globally.
Are you a capitalist or a Marxist?
I'm definitely not a capitalist, no.
Are you a Marxist?
I think what I am is I'm somebody committed to the liberation of oppressed
But I'm
peoples.
asking you, are you a Marxist?
Again, like I said, it's not that simple. If you've read,
Are you a socialist?
have you read Cedric Robinson's Black Marxism?
No.
No,
Well, I'm
well,
just trying
I'd
to find
encourage
out
you to
about
read
you.
it.
Are you a socialist or Marxist? I know they're both pretty much the same, but which one are you?
What I am is I'm somebody dedicated to the liberation of all oppressed peoples.
And so you're not a capitalist, right?
No.
So you don't believe in earning your way and getting paid for your earning?
Well, I think the broader issue, right, is that people assume that that isn't in socialism, or people assume that that isn't in right like other economic forms of being when that's not the case. People work not only to earn their wage, but also too to earn their way into the community,
But not
right?
socialist people.
Well,
They are controlled by others.
time out. How about you define what you think socialism is?
It's people who want to control other people.
Okay, and where
Okay, so Jesse Lee Peterson's definition of socialism is somebody who wants to control others. His previous remark of he wants people to work 24 hours a day and he wants them enslaved shows by his definition that he is a socialist, and his desire and his advocation for people to control women shows that he is also a socialist. So, according to his definition, Jesse is a socialist, and since socialism is evil, according to Jesse, Jesse is evil.
Where'd you hear that from?
Common sense. Because when you look around, that's what
Time
they
out, time
do.
out. Is that common sense,
Yes.
or did you read it from
No,
somewhere?
common sense. I'm looking. I've been in the world for a while now, and I see how. I remember when the blacks were not controlled. I was born in Alabama on a plantation, and black people used to get married. They thought and did for themselves. They were not controlled by government because I didn't even know about welfare because blacks were not into that. They didn't have black leaders. They didn't accept all
When
this.
were you born?
I didn't,
Okay, Jesse was born on a plantation. He's gonna say that. Um, but he's saying he remembers when blacks didn't get welfare, there were no blacks leader. They got married and worked for themselves, and they weren't controlled by the government. I mean, what time in history has this actually happened? I mean, there's usually always been black leaders, but during slavery and Jim Crow era, uh, there's been government control or some type of systematic control. Um, where both slavery and Jim Crow was both put into law. So that's control by the government. They had no independence. They were forced to be married. Um, a lot of the times, especially during slavery, uh, Jim Crow, uh, they were more allowed to have marriages, but it probably wasn't as easy. Um, I find it amusing how he complains about black people getting welfare when throughout American history, white people have always gotten some type of welfare or aid by the government, like with the Homestead Act or various federal loans allowing them to buy houses. Um, Slavery was in part subsidized by the government, as well as various plantations. It's it's amusing to act like one group getting welfare is bad, while another group getting welfare is pretty much okay. Especially if you're just gonna basically ignore it and it claims it doesn't exist.
they didn't accept
What
all
year
this
were you born?
wrongdoing. Uh, it's been so long now. 49, I think.
Oh, you was born in
49.
1949.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so
so
let me just make this point though, because of time.
okay.
And so blacks were individuals. They thought and did for themselves. They looked out for others when time of need at the right time. But when the so-called civil rights movement started, black people sold their lives over to the so-called black leaders and then the government. And now they are like groups and they are being controlled by the government and by other people who are insecure and they need a sense of security, so they keep blacks down in order to control them. But I want to know
And
what made, as a man,
time out.
what made you decide to
What,
follow Black Lives Matter? Because
what?
normally men don't follow women, especially radical women.
Well, before I go there, you had mentioned that in this transition in civil rights, or how you framed it, you had mentioned that that at some point black folks were self sufficient, and because of civil rights stopped being self sufficient.
Yes. First of all,
So
there's no such thing as civil rights, but they sold themselves over to
okay,
that,
okay,
to that
okay.
so-called movement.
Hold on. So
One thing Jesse and people on the right love to ignore is the systematic oppression and subjugation of black people, which has forced them into poverty, which in turn has gotten more people to be on welfare. Um, what can be expected though? I mean, you get very few options as a black person in America, um, especially if your family has been poor, uh, basically forever. Either turn to crime or going on welfare or both. But the thing is, I mean, white people are on as much welfare as black people, so it's not like being on welfare makes you a bad person because you're black. But people on the right like to act like that. They're on welfare, they're lazy, they don't care, blah blah blah. Yeah, well, as long as you ignore the oppression that has been going on for over 400 years, you can easily make those points, but it means you don't live in reality.
So I think the challenge, and you had also said at a certain point that people didn't receive welfare, right?
Right.
That people didn't receive it.
Never heard of it till I moved to the city.
Okay, so look, so now let's take let's take those ideas and let's dive a little bit deeper,
Real fast
right?
because we run out of time. We have some more guests coming up. But I'm enjoying talking to you.
Okay, well, again,
I want to know what made you as a male decide to follow a bunch of radical women.
well, I think,
Now that's not normal. What
well,
made you decide to do it? What
well,
made you
well,
decide to do it?
I think the issue isn't whether or not like men can follow women's leadership. I know I can because women can lead and women can do a damn good job leading.
So were they created to lead or follow?
Women were created to be full human beings.
Were they created to lead or to follow?
Were women created to lead or to follow? Were women created to be controlled or to control? That's his question. Um, it's this is also based upon his religious belief that men are created in the image of Jesus and is supposed to, lead women while Jesus lead the men. And that's pretty socialistic according to Jesse Lee Peterson, definition of socialism, which is people wanting to control others. He's uh, wanting to control women.
That women were created to be full human
How
beings.
about were they created to lead?
Again, you're doing that thing where you're saying
Because you're not answering my question. You're a really smart guy. You get your doctoral.
yeah,
You're a smart guy from UC Berkeley. So I'm asking you, were women created to lead or to follow?
women were created to be full human beings.
I
That's my
didn't ask
answer.
that question though.
But
No, you asked. It doesn't matter what you asked. He's giving the answer. There is no are are women created to lead or follow. It's women are their own people, their own person, and that's just what it is. A person is their own person. They're not created to be led or to lead. They're just born. But the fact that Jesse isn't getting the answer of women were created to uh, lead or be led. Because if David says women are created to lead, he's going to scream at David that he's a beta, or you know why are women supposed to be leaders and not men? And if David says men are supposed to be leaders, he's gonna ask him, okay, then why are you following some fat black lesbians? It's uh, Jesse thinks he can get these people in these uh, these either or questions when it's not just this or that.
That's my
How
answer.
you going to get a good grade up at UC Berkeley? You can't answer a simple question.
Well, I think the as somebody who is a researcher, the answer is never directly in, right, like the question, the question itself is the problem. So that's why I'm giving you a
What's
different
the
answer,
problem with that question?
because the answer would then assume that we're like, well, if I say that, well, women are meant to follow, right, then that means that women are somehow incredibly subservient. That is not the case
So
at all.
even if it's true, you can't say it.
No, it's not true.
Well, if it's true, could you say it?
No, it's not true.
No, I didn't ask you if it was true or not. I said if it was true, would you be able to say the truth?
Well, but that's not true.
I didn't ask him. I'm gonna ask you, would you be able to say yes, the truth to that if it was true?
Well, I'm not going to answer a hypothetical question because that's not true.
Amazing. So, do you believe that Black Lives Matter?
I do.
What does that mean?
Black Lives Matter means that black people and their full humanity, right, should not, their lives should not be harmed or stolen by state sanctioned violence.
Who does it matter to?
Black lives should matter not only to us, but to everybody.
Not sure, but who does it matter to?
Black lives matter to everyone
Like
and
who?
every.
Well, we obviously know that Black lives doesn't matter to Jesse. He could care less if black people died. All he wants to do is enslave them and others. Um, but the Black lives should matter to everybody. Um, the fact that this state can systematically kill people and get away with it, um, it's not just a violation of the rights of those people, but it's a violation of everybody's rights. It means that uh, it shows that the government can do whatever they want, and well, they basically can do whatever they want. I mean, even if, people try to fight, they're going to just kill more people. But as long as, uh, people see the group of people that are being killed as nothing but animals, uh, is going to allow the government to get away with whatever they want even more, um, uh, allowing us to go basically back into full fascism and slavery, which we basically are in at the moment with uh, mass incarceration, as well as having people like Trump and Pence and forgot that one guy's name, Spencer. I think that's his name, the white nationalist. We got several white nationalist people and government. We're basically back to fascism and slavery.
Everybody.
Like who, for example?
Everybody who's a contact in your phone, all the people here, whether we're talking about the state, whether we're talking about the government, whether we're talking about the police, whether we're talking about people in our
Does
community.
Black Lives matter to black people?
Absolutely.
Why are they killing each other?
So to get to that point,
That's another one of those deflector questions. Oh, if you claim Black Lives Matter, why do black people kill each other? Oh, well, why do white people kill each other if you claim all lives matter or white lives matter? Um, but the thing is, though, uh, um, what, all homicides, well, majority of homicides are committed by a person of the same skin tone or demographic. Same with pretty much every other crime. Majority of it is committed against the same person of the same demographic. Um, so I mean, it's just it's pretty much a meaningless question. Besides the fact that there are tons of programs that are out there to try to curb uh, the violence in inner city communities that are black. But if you truly wanted to uh, if you truly cared about curbing violence, what needs to be done is uh, a reflection on poverty, because poverty is what begets crime and violence for the most part, not uh, people of a certain skin tone, but people of various economic statuses due to the lack of access to various goods and services that they would need to help deal with whatever problem they would need to deal with. Like, let's say uh, people are suffering from various mental illnesses that causes aggression. Well, due to the inaffordability of various mental health services, these people will go untreated and therefore go on to harm others. If people lack various goods that they need, they will then go on to commit various crimes to acquire those goods. Now, if you provided those people with said goods and services, you can help decrease said crime. Because if you look at wealthy neighborhoods, there is less crime committed, besides the fact that there is less police there, but the fact that they have access to goods and services that they need, they don't have to commit crime to get it or become victims of crime due to various other things.
I think, right, like when you talk about issues, especially of intra-communal violence, right, people kill who they're next to. Like people don't just go out and kill somebody because I'm killing you because you're black, right? Like when people commit harm, when people commit violent acts, it's oftentimes in retaliation to something or it was for a specific reason, right? And then when that happens, those people are then, put through the criminal justice system and prosecuted for it,
So
right?
black
So
lives
time out,
only
time out, time
matter
out, time
if
out,
it
time out. I'm not done talking.
black
I'm
lives
not
only
done.
matter if it's
I'm not done.
conditions are right.
I'm not done talking, right? There are community organizations that have been fighting back against that type of violence for a very long time. Let's say, for example, here in Los Angeles, we have an organization like Second Call that was working against, that's been working right to make sure that gangs don't have beef with each other. They work on ceasefires between neighborhoods that have been, working or that have been right like at war for years, right? So there are organizations that are doing the work to stop the intracommunal violence. So Black lives have always mattered to Black people. Organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade, organizations,
But because of time, do black lives matter to those black people who are killing other little black children?
yes, like
You
Black
say
lives,
yes, it matters.
yes, Black lives matter to
Well,
Black
why are they
people.
killing those children then?
Again, right, like what you're missing in this broader thing is that again intracommunal violence is a broader challenge, right, like that we have worked on internally in our communities for years, right? Like people never ask those questions when white folks kill 85% of white people. That's not called white on white crime.
Does black lives matter?
And he has a good point right there. Yes, nobody calls it white on white crime when you have uh, a bunch of white people going out killing white people. And they usually just call it like, lone wolves or a person with a mental illness or something. Oh, it's just a serial killer or whatever. Um, uh, if you notice, the way people, the media talks about like violent white people compared to violent black people, the words are totally different. They're usually a lot of the times white people are made out to look good, while black people are made out to look bad. Um,
Matter enough to black people that they were encouraged two parents in a home?
I think Black Lives Matter enough to Black people to where it doesn't matter what kind of parents we have in the home.
But do they
That
encourage? Do they? Does it do Black Lives Matter enough for Black people to encourage two parents in the home?
I think Black Lives Matter enough to Black people to where we want to make sure that we build a better world for Black children.
Do white lives?
You see, the thing is about two parent households. Uh, yes, two parent households are usually better because there are two incomes, or at least one person pulling enough income to support the household while the other takes care of the house and the kids. But if you have, parents that are abusive, that's not going to be better for the kids. If you have parents that aren't there, it's not going to be good for the kids. So it's not the sole thing isn't you have two parents, so the kids are automatically turn out good. There is a variety of reasons why um uh kids of two parent households end up having more advantages, um and it's usually kids that come from two parent households of parents that you know are not trash parents and abuse their kids or uh use their kids for slavery or something. um but uh the main reason why two parent households tend to be better is because of money. If single parent households were able to get similar amount of income, they would be able to. Uh, it would be better for the kids, and it would be better for the kids as the parent would be able to provide more for the needs of the kids, um, instead of lacking on financially, as being a single parent and raising one or two kids is very hard, uh, mainly due to financial reasons.
Lives matter,
I think yeah, like nobody would ever say that they didn't.
but do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Do Black Lives matter when it comes to the unborn child or unborn children? Because there's 70% of parents Planned abortion mills in the inner cities, and they're killing black babies like 90 going north in the womb. Do those Black Lives matter to Black Lives Matter people and other blacks?
Well,
Okay, if you truly cared about uh, the rate of abortions black people have, or black women, you would care about the fact that there's so much poverty in the black community, because you cannot expect women who are struggling financially to have kids and not be able to financially provide for them, and then complain about them going on to welfare or committing crime in order to help provide for those kids. um, when people are in generational poverty, it just doesn't instantly end the next child that they have, or just because the uh, government passed some civil rights bills 60 years ago, when the generational poverty has been going on for hundreds of years. This is why we need reparations for uh, black communities, um, so that black people and others affected by systematic racism can rise themselves out of poverty and actually start progressing themselves up the economic ladder.
what about the mother? Because abortions are about the mother and the decision that that mother makes, right, about what's happening with her.
But I'm
Like
asking you, do those black lives matter to black people,
the black lives that matter to black people are the black lives that are currently existing.
but not those in the womb?
The black lives. Well, so all right. Look, you want to talk about what's going on in the womb? Let's go there. What's going? Why is it that black mothers don't have access to maternal care? Why is it that black mothers, when their kids are born, right, they go to hospitals and they don't have access to the resources? Serena Williams, right, who is a famous tennis player, almost died giving birth to her child, and she is a rich athlete, right? So before I stop, right, like again, yes, black kids in the womb matter to black folks, but the issue is that systems continuously treat us bad, right? So regardless whether we're talking about abortions or even if we're talking about going through to give birth, right, like kids are coming into this world in a racist environment. So
Amazing.
before I answer that question about yes, do people do black kids matter in the womb? Yes, they do matter, and yes, black kids do matter in the
But
womb,
not to Black
right?
Lives Matter. They don't care about that. They
Well,
made it clear they don't care about abortion.
well, no, no, no,
They're
no,
in
no, no,
favor
no, no,
of
no,
it.
no, 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 no,
They're
no,
in favor of
no, no, no.
abortion.
Talking about Black Lives Matter is in favor of black women having autonomy over their bodies. That is a very different framing than saying that Black Lives Matter doesn't care about that. Because what we do know is that people get abortions for very different reasons. People don't just get abortions
Do you
because they want
support
an
abortion?
abortion. I support women making the healthiest choice for
How
themselves.
about abortion?
If an abortion is that, then yes.
Do you support same-sex marriage?
Yes, people should be allowed to get married to whoever they want to.
Amazing. Um, that's mind-blowing. Isn't that like amazing? You gotta admit that amazing, right?
You gotta admit that's amazing, right? That, people love each other and they wanna be committed to each other. That's amazing, right? Somebody like Jesse who pretends to be about love cannot understand how two people of the same sex can love each other. It's just like back in the past when people were like, how can two people of two different skin tones love each other? That's amazing, right? Jesse would be that type of person who would be against interracial marriage and would also use the Bible and stuff to support it, just like in the past when the Bible was used to support banning interracial marriages. Yeah, like me, it wouldn't be. It's not too long ago that a person like me would be considered illegal because I am a biracial person.
What?
Being a Christian, you would support all that.
Well, so Jesus loved poor people. Jesus publicly defended.
He loved them enough not to kill them in the womb.
Jesus also loved a prostitute enough to defend her in public.
Right. But not to kill her.
Yeah, and he stopped people from killing her, a
But you
prostitute
guys
in
are not
public.
stopping them from killing them in the womb.
Well, we're trying to stop people from killing us in regular life.
But not in the womb.
So again, right, like
Oh, this is another thing about people on the right. They care more about a fetus than they actually do about living people. Um, Once the fetus is born, they basically don't care. Because then they want to blame the mother for having kids and stuff when they are financially unable to afford kids. It's it, it's kind of a a a weird cycle that they have created.
I think the broader issue that you're trying to bring up and that you're trying to provoke is this idea that for some odd reason that to Black Lives Matter, the broader network or the organization, that other segments of Black folks and Black lives like don't matter to them because we only care about police violence. I think that's what you're doing.
If black
So
men and women
stop.
got married, would they have to kill the baby?
Hold on for 1 second. I think the issue is that you're only thinking of this organization, and that since this organization isn't addressing all of those other things, right? Like that, for some reason, right, like that, like they don't think Black lives actually matter. Understand that Black people, Black communities, and other Black organizations have been addressing all of these same issues, right, like for decades. There is a work group right now here in LA County, led by a woman named Adoja, that's focused specifically on African American maternal health,
Amazing.
right? Like
Let me just say, because of time, I'm totally run out of
well,
time.
well,
I want to
well,
ask you real fast. If black men and women got married, would they then have to kill the children in the womb?
well. I think
That see, he pretty much ignores everything anybody really has to say. Um, but no. Um, well, even if there's two parents, people get abortions for a variety of reasons. Um, there are some people who don't want kids, and sometimes condoms and birth control stop working. Some people just aren't financially capable of having kids. Uh, some people, it's not medically sound for them to have kids. Some people, they just don't want kids. Um, but I mean, if sometimes it's better for a woman to have more financial help if they're having kids. So if there's a second person married to them or not helping them out, yeah, that would be better. Well, I can't just say women. There are lots of guys that are single fathers raising kids. The thing is, financial help is what is needed to help these single parents raise their kids without unneeded stress. Because if we truly want to, keep up the American birth rate and stuff, we're going to need to do more in order to help single parents just as much as two-parent households.
think the issue is right. Like regardless if Black men or women get married or not, is the woman going to be healthy enough to take that pregnancy to term?
Are you in favor of dismantling the police departments around the country?
I'm in favor of broader public safety, and police are not the ones who help to keep communities safe.
Are you in favor of dismantling the police departments?
I'm in
Okay, yeah. Cops, the Supreme Court has ruled that cops the do not have to follow uh the right to protect or the duty to protect doctrine, uh, stating that if you see someone who you could help and you do not help, you could be considered liable. Um, there was a case where in New York City, cops were looking for a uh, stabbing suspect uh, who they knew were headed to the subway. They stationed two cops on that subway train. The stabbing suspect got on, went to the subway car where the cops were, said he was a cop. They denied him entry. He started stabbing a person, and then after the person that got stabbed subdued the stabber, the cops came out and took credit for uh, apprehending the person, and with the help of other subway passengers, the guy survived. After suing for the cops not doing anything, Supreme Court ruled cops don't have to do anything, which shows that cops are nothing more than revenue generators for the state, and the fact that they will only truly protect the wealthy and wealthy businesses. They're nothing there but for the private security of the wealthy.
in favor of reimagining public safety so that way we can take that
I'm
money
black
that
and
police
slow, and I
use.
don't know what that means. Are you in favor of dismantling police departments?
I'm in favor of building up departments of real public safety.
Do
and
you
police are not.
Yes, real departments of public safety. Like we can have better medical professionals that can go out and do wellness checks or talk to people who um, are abusing drugs or have some kind of disability or medical issue which needs some kind of help. Um, for like homeless people, there could be some kind of homeless outreach. Um, so if you use the housing first policy, we could do away with all homelessness. But some kind of homeless outreach to talk to homeless people for whatever problem, be it lack of shelter, drug related, or something. Uh, you don't need an armed response to talk to homeless people that are just sleeping outside. Um, we can have better funding towards black-owned businesses and education and black communities, as well as um, better programs to help black people become uh, owners of houses instead of renters, as basically throughout history, black people been have been prevented from owning houses, which has which has been another way of forcing them into poverty.
Not that.
do you believe that there's something called systemic racism?
That's what I've said this entire time.
And what is it?
Okay, this last question truly proves that Jesse Lee Peterson has not been listening whatsoever to David Turner. Um, this is just an 18-minute clip, but the entire debate is an hour long. This seems to be near the end. Um, Jesse Lee Peterson just likes to hear himself talk. He wants to hear certain words that he can then bite onto and then follow his script.
Literally everything I just said.
What is systemic racism?
Well, it's one thing for a one individual person to say a racist thing or do a racist thing. It's
What
another
is a
thing for
racist thing?
so let's say
Systemic racism basically is racism that is supported by the state in some way. Um, Slavery was systemic racism. Jim Crow laws were systemic racism. Um, the government passing laws barring certain barring black people from like the Homestead Act or the Wagner Act or um, allowing um, fucking what is it? Redlining and reverse redlining, which was supported by the state, is systemic racism. Um, it's also uh, systemic racism is something that is also supported by the society, either blatantly or more hidden.
for example, when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, right? Like what happened was he was on the phone, like calling him all kind of different names, and then right like proceeded to follow him,
So that's
right?
just, he did not follow him
Well,
for the reason you said.
well,
But is that
time out,
systemic racism?
time out. That was an individual act of racism. The systemic part, right, is that it took, over 30 days to arrest him, right? Then after taking that long to arrest him, then right like the case went to trial, and then he eventually got off because the legal system protected him.
Are you
So
as-
that is the systemic part.
Do you
The
believe
individual
in-
act was protected by
Do
the
you
systemic
believe in
part.
innocent until proven guilty?
I believe that our entire court and judicial system is problematic and that it needs to be
I'm
changed.
going to ask you, do you personally believe in innocent until proven guilty?
I believe in innocent until proven guilty, but our justice system, probably like he'll try to explain, does not believe in that because throughout all of American history, black people have always been considered guilty until proven innocent. Um, like with Emmett Till, who was accused of harassing a woman and then lynched by the state. He was a 14-year-old boy. Um, the lady ended up coming out saying that she lied about it, and it's similar to the Tusla race massacre, where a lady accused another black person of harassment, and it resulted in the destruction of Black Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Do you discriminate?
But what do you mean by discriminate?
Do you discriminate?
Well, again, right? Like define discriminate.
You don't know what that means, and you go to Berkeley?
No, I know exactly what it means, but
So do you discriminate?
I think you have a very different understanding of
No,
words
yeah,
than I do.
no, I don't. That's what I'm asking you. Do you discriminate?
No, I don't.
You never discriminate.
No.
Amazing.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment below as to what you thought. Uh, just another video of Jesse Lee Peterson being Jesse Lee Peterson, which is a racist, sexist bigot. Um, he is, in my opinion, a black, white nationalist, even though he may not claim it. Um, the more you listen to him, the more it shows that he supports white Christian supremacy.